Hello and good morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden. Let's talk some Blue Jays trade rumors because there's a lot going on, but not going on at the same time. It's just one of those weird weeks because the trade deadline is slowly approaching. 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday is the MLB trade deadline. So, as we all talk all things getting going, and whatnot. We're going to talk all things that go up to that point. So, first things first, apparently the Cleveland Guardians are thinking they're going to be a little bit more of a seller than they are going to be, um, gathering new resources and bringing guys in. Maybe it's a little bit of a quick flip at the same time, however it might be. But there is that whole thing going on with Emmanuel Clase and some other people in that locker room. But right now, it looks like the are going to be dangling a few of their bigger guys in Shane Bieber, who is currently rehabbing from Tommy John surgery, but is actually rehabbing and throwing. He could be a nice little addition here for somebody down the stretch, along with apparently the big get. Stephen Kwan actually might be, or at least they're cozying up to the idea of him maybe potentially moving along. It would be a big task to move Stephen Kwan, as he is currently under team control until 2028. But Ken Rosenthal, of all people, is saying that he's drawing a ton of interest, and I think it's starting to get the Guardians to actually listen to it. Is what he's, the summary of his report. Blue Jays, Dodgers, Padres, and Phillies have checked in on it along with others. So the fact that Stephen Kwan could be the bat that moves back to Toronto, regardless of, like I said, losing some of these pieces to our minor league system, getting somebody like that for a extended amount of time is incredibly awesome, because at the end of the day, that would be bringing one of the best contact bats in baseball to Toronto. He's batting .287 with 9 home runs, 37 RBIs, which is also good for 113 hits. So Stephen Kwan is an elite hitter at the age of 27. I just think it's fun. He's also about 5'9", so that's my height. So, but either way, he's been a heck of a hitter his career, and that would be a hell of a get. But you are going to have to give up one of those top prospects that we have for Stephen Kwan, and there's not really a question in that. But you talk about somebody that could be another igniter at the top of this lineup. Stephen Kwan could be that piece and really just shove this offense over the top. An outfield with a healthy Dalton Varsho, a Stephen Kwan, hopefully everything's good with George Springer after last night, along with the Nathan Lucases and everybody that has been so efficiently contributing to this team. This turns into a machine in the outfield, watching the Blue Jays have somebody like Stephen Kwan roaming the outfield, or at least having the lumber ready to go. So, what else is going on? It also sounds like that things are heating up for the Miami Marlins to potentially trade Sandy Alcantara or Edward Cabrera. So, it sounds like they're both likely to be traded at this point. Blue Jays have been looking for pitching. These are two big names that are on the pitching market, and Cabrera is a hell of a fit. So is Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara has definitely looked a ton better in his last few outings, playing like he wants out of Miami. So, it'd be interesting to see what he would do because he was so good, won a Cy Young award, and as he's obviously coming back from Tommy John, he will be ramping up even more if he's talking to a team that's a competitor. So it will be great to see what he could do with being on a competitor. He's a hell of a ball player. Same thing with Cabrera. Very, very interesting that they're going to be basically 100% on the move, it sounds like, from Ken Rosenthal and others saying that. But we'll see how the cookie crumbles, because at the end of the day, it is still completely wide open at this point. These are all rumors, speculations, this thing, that thing, whatever. But that time I talked about Emmanuel Clase, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole with what's going on with his quote-unquote gambling and shaving points kind of thing going on. Potentially right now he's on administrative leave. He has not been brought up on fines or anything at this point. So let's talk the game last night. Chris Bassett got rocked. So Heading into the game last night, Chris Bassett had a 7.71 ERA in Camden Yards. So, not his most favorite holiday destination of any kind. That being said, he didn't help get any holes yesterday as he was quickly beat up for um, 6 earned runs, mostly on home runs. His season ERA just took a hell of a spike to 4.24. Only made it 2 1/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and gave up the 2 home runs, which included back-to-back home runs by Cedric Mullins and Kobe Mayo, the young, talented player, top prospect for the Orioles. It's his third, 15th for Cedric Mullins, who also just hit his 100th home run yesterday. So it is what it is. But not only did Cedric Mullins hit a home run, he probably took one away from Nathan Lucas, too. So this team was doing pretty good back and forth at the beginning of the game, and this was a very, very exciting game heading into the fifth. And the Blue Jays, unfortunately, just got caught, and the Orioles took off. Um, Brandon Little, for as good as he has been, had a incredibly rough evening in the heat in Baltimore. Not enough in the splash zone apparently, but the Orioles continue to drop bombs, and Colton Cowser drops an opposite field home run, 4 earned runs in 1 out recorded for Brandon Little, and at that point, the floodgates had literally opened, and the Orioles run away with an 11-4 win. Some bright spots. The offense did score 4 and was very efficient at the beginning of this game. Vladdy hitting a home run, like I said. Nathan Lucas also just missing out on a home run. A second one, I mean. Sorry, I forgot he hit the first one because he got flat out robbed in the second. But the offense kept things moving at the beginning of this game. Even Will Wagner coming back from after his father's Hall of Fame induction gets in on the action and gets the Blue Jays some runs, but just not enough offense. And then, of course, this game ended on the most sour of notes for Blue Jays fans as George Springer got a ball high and tight and went down. Took the ball kind of into the back of his shoulder, apparently, into the helmet. All reports at the moment are saying he is fine. John Schneider went on and said he was able to turn out of the way most of the way for that pitch yesterday, so it seems like he's going to be okay. He's been alert the whole time, nothing crazy, but I would highly expect George Springer to only play in one of these games, if not none of them, this afternoon, because the Blue Jays have to double dip tonight. They will be playing the Baltimore Orioles in the heat in Baltimore at Camden Yards for 2 today. So they get the 27th man. There's going to be a bunch of roster moves right before this game at noon. There's also nobody currently announced to open the game for the pitching rotation for the Blue Jays, which might mean they're going to bring up somebody like Paxton Schultz or whatnot to face Charlie Morton for the Baltimore Orioles in Game 1. And then Eric Lawler is scheduled to pitch Game 2, and he will be facing that wonderful TBD guy for the Baltimore Orioles. So we'll see who they pick up and who they bring in. So, but it looks like both teams are going to utilize a bullpen day for one of the positions in each of the doubleheader games today. So it'll be interesting to see where things land out. Blue Jays have always struggled against Charlie Morton, but this is a very new team since the last time we saw Charlie. And then Eric Lawler is been on fire. Hopefully he continues that up. You talk about a guy that could get a Cy Young vote. He might not be too far off. So, anyways, that's what we got today, Blue Jays fans. Hopefully things go great for the doubleheader. Hopefully we get some more trades instead of trade rumors. And we'll talk to you soon tomorrow morning, and have a great day. Cheers.